Hi, everybody. It's December. It's the middle of December. Time's flying. I'm pretty sure I said that in my last video. I just kind of can't comprehend that the end of the year is right around the corner. I am still trying to hit my book goals. I think it's going to be possible because I have some time off around Christmas. So I'm really going to have to buckle down and read a bunch this month, but it's doable. So I'm definitely excited for the end of the year so we can do an end of the year reading wrap up. I think I might want to do what I'm excited for next year when it comes to series, and then just sandals. I don't know. So we're definitely gonna figure out something like that. But today we are doing our November reading wrap up. November was a good month, I feel like, in terms of what I read and my ratings. I had a lot of high rated books in the month of November. So I'm definitely really excited to talk about all of that. There wasn't really anything that disappointed me. I think I could just be totally lying to you. So we'll see. I'm still at my mom's house in Ohio. I'm going to be here for the rest of the month. So I don't have my books with me, my physical copies. I'm going to be looking at my Goodreads a lot to kind of remind me what I read this month. But we will get into that. Oh, I got a microphone. A few little guys. These were only I want to say $35 on Amazon. I got 2 mics, and then there's I don't know what it's maybe an adapter, but it plugs into your phone. It plugs into my camera. So I'm definitely intrigued to see how different the audio will be. I've seen those big mics you can get for your cameras. I just don't think that my camera is suited for that. I'm sure it would work, but my cameras, I have a Sony ZV-1F, I want to say, and it's a little smaller, so I'm not sure how a big giant mic would look sitting on top of it, and I feel like these are just cute. They work, they connect to my phone. They've got, hopefully this isn't with the thing, but you can clip it to your shirt or someone else's shirt, and there's 2 of them. So I'm definitely excited about this. I don't know why. I just think that they're so cute. But okay, let's talk books. All right, let's see. I believe the first book that we read this month, of course, it's not popping up this month, in the month of November. Oh, it was Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. Now, I will put this right here. This was a really good romantasy. I rated it. Let's see. We're going to look at my book details. Oh, yes. Okay. And I have notes. See, Goodreads is just helpful. Okay. I gave this 4 stars now that I'm jogging up my memory. I did really like this. The yearning was really great. So this is about a goddess and a mortal, and they kind of intertwine in their lives at a very young age. And then as they both get older, that person is always still there, always still in the back of their mind. So it's yearning for a long period of time, and then they eventually cross paths again. She helps him. I don't want to, this is going to be spoiler free. So she eventually helps him with something, and it's forced proximity a little bit. They become closer, and then eventually something happens with her, and she's not able to see him anymore. She kind of disappears in a sense to him. And then years later, she comes back and things go the way you want them to go. But I really enjoyed the yearning. I thought this was beautifully written. Rebecca Ross did a really, really, really good job. I remember reading this and being wow. The writing was just so nice. And honestly, her gods and goddesses, the magic system was really interesting to me. They have constellations, and you can steal from, borrow from. When you kill a god, then that magic goes to you. It was just really cool, and I really enjoyed that. Now, I did not know that this was a prequel to Divine Rivals, so that just makes me want to read Divine Rivals even more. So I'm definitely excited about that. I will probably do that in the new year. I'm sure I've said this before. I'm going to BookCon in April, so I just feel my TBR for that, because they announced authors and whatnot, is really long. So I'm not really in any rush to read Divine Rivals, but with her writing, I eventually will be excited to read it. And then the second book I finished. I didn't read this I read this throughout October and November, but I finished it in November, so I'm counting it as a November read, was The God of the Woods. Now, I read this with my boss and my coworker. We have a little tiny book club, and I only gave it 3 stars. I don't know if it just... I think my expectations for the book were a little bit different. We kind of wanted to do like not a spooky, I guess, if you will, a spooky like thriller read, and we all had seen this and we wanted to read it, so we picked it up. And to me, it just was not that. It was thriller, yes, but I don't know. It was more like murder mystery-ish to me, and I felt like there was a lot of jumping between. So it's about a family. They have 2 kids. They're wealthy, and they like own this summer camp. And their first child, a boy named Bear, he disappears. They never find him. And then their second child, Barbara, she disappears. I'm not gonna spoil what happens to her, but it's all about like family and hidden secrets, and just like kind of how all of that intertwines, and the drama, and just like the intricacies of family, and how, I don't know, hard it can be. I feel like that doesn't make sense, but it has a lot to do with family and family drama, and just like how, like I just said, intricate family lines can be. So yeah. And then the ending for me was not what I wanted it to be. I just felt like the ending was a little unrealistic, let's say that. And also, there are multiple timelines in this book, so you like go back and forth, past, present, and for some reason that confused me because there were so many point of views in this book. If I'm thinking about it, there was Barbara, Tracy, Judea, Alice, a couple camp counselors that I can't think of their names. So like there were a ton of point of views, and it kept going back in time and present. So I had to keep flipping, and I think I did myself a disservice because I also I wasn't fully invested in this because I was reading things at other books at the same time. So partially that could have been my fault, but this was not one of my favorites, which is kind of a bummer because everybody rates it really well. But the next 2 books I read are probably some of my favorites of the year. I read The Wolf King and The Night Prince, which it's the same series, but these books, guys, they were insane. These are romantasy, and it's based, so there's this human princess, her name's Aurora, and there is like a wolf alpha named Callum. Let me just say, he takes her, and then she kind of, folds into their ways. And then we have another wolf that comes into it who's very high powered, and I'm jumbling this whole thing up because it was so good. It is a love triangle. Now, I have a love-hate with love triangles, only because I feel like there's usually a clear answer in the love triangle, so it just sometimes feels pointless. I don't know. Not every time. I will say I don't hate it every time, but this love triangle is insane because you love them both, and you kind of like, I don't know, I know who she's going to pick in a sense, but the other contender, he's standing. Like, if he's not a bad choice if she picks him. So, it's really good. It is really good. There's a really good cliffhanger on The Night Prince. There's a really good cliffhanger on The Wolf King. Like, they were just fan-freaking-tastic. I don't know why, but I have been loving the wolf trend, genre, whatever we want. I don't think it's trend. Genre, do we want to say that? Trope, the wolf trope, because I love Diary-Bound. But this was like, I don't want to say a dirtier version of Diary-Bound, but low-key a dirtier version of Diary-Bound. It is a little smutty, but like in the best way possible. This was just fantastic. I have no notes. I think I'm going to look at my details. Oh, I gave the first one, a 4.5 star. And then let's see what I gave The Night Prince. The Night Prince I gave a 5 star. I want to see what I said about it. Exactly, I said the same thing. Oh, and there's a third coming out, which I thought it was a duology, so I'm really bummed about that because I want the third one now, and I wanted it to be a finished series, but I'm also excited because these were really, really good, and I recommend them 200% to you. The next book I read, now I looked at my Goodreads before this. I remember this book, but I don't really remember this book. I read Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie, and I gave this a 3.5. I'm sitting here looking at it, and I probably would give it a 3, considering I don't really remember much. So let's see what I wrote. Oh, first half of the book was really slow. Now they're at an institute. It's kids, so this is a young adult. There were multiple POVs throughout the book. And there's trials. So they're in an institute, they're at school, and then there's trials with the book. There's trials in the book, and then there's plot twists amongst the trials, and then the higher ups in the school. It almost gave me the group of kids. This is a really bad explanation. Wow. The group of main characters in the book, there's a group of people who go into the trial. Obviously, they're all going to become friends and whatnot, but they kind of gave me Fourth Wing group vibes. Except the way this author wrote, she did point of views from everybody who went through the trials. I think there's 6 or 8 kids, and there's there's love connections, relationships amongst a bunch of them, and I just didn't really care for any of them except one. So I think that was my problem, is I really didn't feel that invested in it. This is the first one. I don't know how many books it's going to be in the series, so we'll see. I do think I'll read the second one, but I don't think it's on my list of I need to read this urgently. It was not one that I loved that much, but it was still good. I don't know. I feel like I'm giving you a mixed review here because I feel like that's how the book left me a little bit. I don't know. I wasn't really sure. It wasn't anything that I thought was mind-blowing. So that was a really bad review, I feel on Immortal Consequences. But that's just kind of how it made me feel, my brain. And it was not really memorable for me. So... And I really wanted it to be. I've said this before, I think it's young adult. So I think that's my problem. But, okay, next. Oh, after that, I read Gothikana by RuNyx. Now, I read Enigma by RuNyx in the summer, and I actually really liked that. I don't know, I liked her writing. I really like Gothic books. I think that the setting is just, it's intense. It's grabbing, it pulls me in. And this was that. Now, I did only give this 3 stars because it was just a quick, teeny tiny standalone. It was fun. That's basically all it was. Somebody is about to interrupt me. I've got my partner in crime sitting on the bed with me now. Okay, Gothikana. This was a dark romance. Interrupted yet again. So this was a dark romance, and it's kind of another dark academia book. The female main character goes to attend this, I'm just going to call it college, university, whatever, and there's a lot of dark secrets in it, and then she meets one of the professors named Bad, and it turns into a teacher-student romance kind of thing. He's basically forbidden, but he's a grad student who's also a professor, so that's why it's a little bit more acceptable, but not at the same time. So it was good, and then she kind of helps uncover some of the secrets that come along with the school. There had been a lot of disappearances, so a very dark, gothic romance. So it was fun. That's basically all it was. I don't think that there was anything a part of it that I'm oh my god, you need to read this. But it was short. Anybody want but it was short. It was not sweet, but it was short, quick, easy read if you were looking for a dark romance like that. We're getting interrupted. Now, the next one, let's see here. I just dropped the phone on Howie's face. Sorry, buddy. Here we go. So the next book that I read, I do have it with me. Brimstone. Now, guys, this is kind of controversial around the internet right now. Here's what I'm going to say. I enjoyed this. I loved Quicksilver. I love Kingfisher. Were there some editing errors? Yes. Did it take away from the book? Kind of. Would I still recommend this to other people? Yes. I think that for some reason, everybody is incredibly focused on some of the issues in the book. I don't know. I feel like it is controversial just because people like me, I like to read for the vibes. I'm not really that bothered by mistakes like that, and maybe I should be, but I'm just not. Aside from that, I thought this was a really fun book. It definitely did feel a little filler, like it was like a filler book, but I really liked the relationship, the development of Kingfisher and Carrion's relationship. And then I also thought Ceres was a really good character in this book. I feel like we kind of dove into her powers a little bit more, and I feel like there's still a lot to be discovered about her. And I thought that this book was really setting that up. I also thought the side characters throughout this novel were really interesting. Like, I was really invested in everybody's story, which for me, I'm usually not. So I feel like there's a lot to be said with the fact that I, was really intrigued with everybody throughout the story. There is one pet peeve I want to talk about, and if you don't want any spoilers and you haven't read this yet, I'm going to tell you to skip to this point. But let me just say, one thing that I feel like I have a pet peeve with romantasy and fantasy, I guess any genre, but I see it most in these because those are the most that I read. Killing off characters and bringing them back to life. It's overused. It's overdone. I'm kind of tired of it. Like, if you're going to kill somebody, kill them. Maybe that's a hot take, but, like, kill them. I'm tired of you bringing them back to life because I feel like it just takes away from the emotion and the intensity and, like, the actual impact of that death if they just come right back to life. Like, it's just stupid. And mind you, in this book, it's the fox that dies, RuNyx. So it's, like, not a huge death, but to me, it's still, like, this is just stupid. So that's just a pet peeve of mine. Okay, and if you're back, we just talked about my teeny tiny pet peeve. That's, yeah, whatever. But no, I definitely thought that this was a good one. I think I rated it 4.5 stars because, like I said, I enjoyed it. I do think that there was a twist at the end that was, like, cool. I guess I wasn't like, oh my god, this is the craziest thing I've ever read. But I don't know. We'll see how I feel about that ending and what it turns into in the next book. But I did like it. I think they're great books. I feel like I have so much to say about it, but I also don't want spoilers. So I guess that's going to be all. I will say, actually, I'll say one more thing. Kingfisher, I love him. I absolutely love him. I do think we got to see more of his, like, lovey-dovey side in this book, and that's all she wrote. I loved it. So I definitely recommend it, and I'm excited for the next one. Hopefully she has her editors check and double check the next one, because I feel like the internet has been ruthless with this book. So, all right. And then, the next one. Okay, so the next book that I read, I have it with me. I'm just looking at my review. I gave this 3 stars. I guess I lied to you guys about my ratings. Maybe, like, the books that I thought were really good just kind of outweighed the books that I gave, like, mediocre scores with. Metal Slinger was the next book I read. I feel like my expectations for this book were so high that it definitely took away from me when I read this. Because I did not really love this, which is like clearly a hot take. I just feel like it was nothing. Now the ending was pretty good, but it also kind of made me mad. Like, I don't know. The ending was a big, like, cliffhanger kind of shocker thing. And I just feel like, in a way, she made, like, the right choice. But also, I don't know, I just wasn't obsessed with it. Like, it made me mad because the male main character that comes into the novel that kind of saves her throughout it, like, she, like, betrays him a little bit. And maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way, but I liked him. Like, I felt bad for him for what she does in the end, which I don't know how that's supposed to... I don't know if that's supposed to be right or not, but it just made me feel bad. And what else did I say? I'm looking at my Goodreads. I said the relationship in this book was slightly frustrating for me, and I felt like I wasn't as invested in their story as I should be. Oh my god, I forgot about this. The author, if this doesn't have something to do with the next book, this phrase, she kept using, the female main character kept using the phrase, dang rabbits. I hated it. I absolutely wanted to rage. I hated it. Every time I saw it, it made me so violent. I hated it. And hopefully it has some stupid meaning in the next book, because there's no room in this type of book for the phrase dang rabbits. Nobody can convince me otherwise. I hated it. Every time I saw it, it took me out of, like, reading the book because it just made me mad. That's just a stupid little pet peeve, but I freaking hated it. So there's my rant on that. But yeah, I don't know. The setting was cool. It was different. I mean, I feel like we don't see a lot of... They were, like, on a boat for a little bit, so I don't know. That was cool. But yeah, the female main character definitely made me a little bit mad. She was just kind of annoying. I just, meh. And then I did like Acker, but he wasn't, like, some extraordinary book boyfriend. He's nowhere near my top 10, that's for sure. So yeah, that's how I feel on Metal Slinger. I was bummed. Will I read the second one? Probably. So, I don't know. Yeah. If you have a differing opinion and you want to try and change my mind, please do. Because I don't know why I had such an issue with that book. Now, alright. We are ending the month of November with a book that I personally loved. I was going to save this for December to read, but I'm just looking at my Goodreads. I keep refreshing my memory. Now, yeah, like I said, I was going to save this for December, but it was the last day of December. I did this in my last video too, where I kept getting my months mixed up. November. I was going to save this book for December, but it was the last day in November and I needed a book to read, so I decided to pick this book up. It was like the Saturday. The last day was a Sunday, so Saturday night I picked this up. Not that you guys really care, but it's different this time. This was a second chance romance. There's Adam and June. Those are the main characters. I ate this book up. The one thing I really, really, really liked about this book was kind of just like how realistic the characters were. I don't know. I felt like the author did a really good job of showing or displaying emotions properly, because there is a point in this book where she sees her ex-boyfriend for the first time, and there's like a little bit of denial. It's a mixture of things. There's denial, there's hope, there's frustration. Like, you kind of feel all that through the author's writing. At least I got that, and that just felt so right to me. And I was like, wow, like, you feel frustrated for her, because you're like, I'm thinking, like, what did this man do to her? Turns out she was the problem, which is kind of a spoiler, but not. Like, if you read this, you'll find out why. But I don't know, you just kind of like felt everything through her, and I really, really, really enjoyed that. The setting of this book was really cute. LA, New York. She's trying to be an actress, and it just kind of isn't panning out. And she left New York. He's a chef. Like, it was just freaking adorable. The timeline felt right. It wasn't too slow. It wasn't too fast. Like, I gave this a 4.5 stars. It's close to a 5. I don't know. I just ate this up. I absolutely loved it. And I would really recommend this to anybody. It looks like it would be a fall read. I didn't really think it was like a fall or seasonal read. I guess maybe a little bit. Maybe I'm missing something. But to me, it didn't feel like that. The side characters, the friends in this book were really cute. There was some frustrating parts with like her family, but it makes sense as to what happens. You know what I mean? Like, there's clearly past trauma that comes into this book with the female main character's life, and it kind of, shows why she is the way she is and why she did a few things that are very frustrating. So this was good. I will recommend this to anybody who needs a second chance, quick romance. I mean, this is only like, I think 500 pages, but I read this in less than 24 hours. It was so good. Yeah, so that was my month of December. How many books is that? I want to say 8. Let's see. We had 1, 2, 3, oopsies, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow. So we had 9 books in the month of November. That's pretty good. I thought it was a little bit less than that. I've already been reading some of our December reads, and my God, do we have a mix of reviews already. So December reading wrap up is going to be quite the interesting one, which I feel like there are opinions on my December reading wrap up that you guys might not agree with. So we'll see. You guys being my wonderful 8 subscribers, who I love very much. But yeah, this was my November reading wrap up. Thank you for being here. I always will appreciate you being here. And I will see you for the next video. Bye.